Hi, everybody. Welcome to Convertible Conversations. We're going to take a few days. I'm not sure it'll be longer than a week. Not sure exactly how long it will last, but we're going to look at changing our paradigm. A changing paradigm. You know, a paradigm is just a set of ideas or assumptions and values that you believe that everything that you do in life filters through that. For example, when I was a kid, we had a time paradigm, which meant if somebody said, "What time is it?" we would automatically look at our watch or look at a clock. Today, with almost everybody, not quite everybody, with almost everybody, when somebody says, "What time is it?" you pull out your cell phone and look at your cell phone. So we used to have a paradigm that the way we figure out what time it is you look at a watch or a clock. Today, the paradigm is when you want to know what time it is, you look at your cell phone. Now, that's just a very simple thing. So we have to adopt new paradigms as new information comes along, and we learn things that differentiate from what we used before. So we believe something, we have a certain paradigm, and then when we get a new understanding about that, there can be a complete shift in how we look at things. And we can't just take the new and include it with the old. We need to set aside the old and use the new. So I'm looking at several different things in the days coming up, a new paradigm or a new way of thinking or changing our mind about different things in the spiritual realm. The reason that we believe what we believe is because it's what we've always been taught. Some of us have grown up in church. We've gone to church. We've heard certain things about God, the Bible, people, and stuff like that. That's what the preachers have taught us, because generally we've been in one denomination and they all have a party line thing. And that's what our parents have taught us and things like that. However, there are a lot more ways to look at things than what anybody has been taught in their one given denomination and things like that. So what we're going to do today is we're just going to start about changing our mind about God. That's the first topic today. Changing our mind about God. People have all kinds of different ideas about God, of course. 2,000 years ago, in the world then, there was no internet or any kind of communication really with other countries and things like that, unless you actually went there. And people worshiped a lot of different fake gods. And they had ideas about these fake gods, but they had some things in common. For example, every god there was that people worshiped was aloof, separate, up in the sky somewhere, unknowable, fickle, had to be appeased, certainly not personable, not available. They all kept a list of things that you did wrong, and they would bless you if you did the right things, and they would curse you if you did the wrong things. The gods were pretty much continually bummed. They were just like all the time upset with the people. That's what they thought. But they could be manipulated. Like if you knew how to appease the rain god, then you could do certain things and get rain to come. Well, we all know how silly that is today, except we still think some of those things about the only true God. So Jesus, God himself, came to earth literally to be one of us in a skin suit, in an earth suit, a human being, to show us what God, the only true God, his Father, is really like. And he said, nobody knows the Father. So I'm here, you're looking at me, you're seeing the Father. So he literally gave us a new paradigm. He is the paradigm now. He is the template or the lens to view what God is like. For example, when we look at the Old Testament before Jesus came, Scripture tells us it was just a shadow of what was to come. Well, you can't get anything from a shadow. Maybe you can get a basic shape of something in a two-dimensional thing, but even at that, it's going to be out of proportion depending on where the sun is and how long the shadow is and that kind of stuff. So you really couldn't get any kind of a good idea of what God was like from the Old Testament writers. In the New Testament, you look at Jesus, and he is the exact representation of God. So if we see something in Jesus that contradicts what we see in the Old Testament, we need to come up with a new paradigm. Now, unfortunately, people don't do that. In the first church, they got this, and they started seeing God totally differently because they saw Jesus, and there were people there who knew him and that kind of stuff. But almost immediately, people with the old paradigm, they were called Judaizers, would come in and say, well, yes, yeah, Jesus, he's good, and, the cross, that's good stuff and everything. But God hadn't changed from the way we used to see him. The rules are still the same and all this kind of stuff. And the Apostle Paul and others just fought that tooth and nail because it wasn't right. They tried to say, well, yeah, Jesus is okay, but he's gone, and God is still distant and aloof, and he's keeping a list of wrongs, and you got to appease him and all of this kind of stuff. Well, none of that's true. See, we learn that now from looking at Jesus. So today we're just going to think about changing our mind about God. Repenting means to change your mind about something. So I'm giving you at least my understanding that we all need to change our mind about what we've believed about God in the past, if that's different than what Jesus is like. For example, Jesus kept no list of wrongs. He accepted everybody. He was glad to hang out with sinners. That's who he chose to hang out with. He didn't judge and said he didn't come to judge. He came to seek and to save and to include and accept everyone. Now, I just want to encourage you. I've been doing this for a few years now, and it's made all the difference in my life. I want to encourage you to look at Jesus' life, look at what he was like and how he interacted with people, and change your mind about God to only think about God the way you see Jesus in the New Testament. And of course, what Jesus himself, through the Holy Spirit, tells you. So, change your mind about God. That's our assignment for today. We'll talk about something else tomorrow. Hey, thanks for watching.